Check, 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 check. All right, all right, all right. Let's go. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good time. I am glad to come at you and be with you tonight. Let's go ahead and get into market review because I will not be there tomorrow to trade with you. So please, actually, I got a few of my trades done before in Asia, technically. But I wouldn't trade Asia if you're new. It's kind of slow, can be volatile at times. But yeah, let's go take a look at the market and see what we got going for tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for the subscribership. I think we're up to 93 now. It's amazing getting a chance to connect with you and love the comments. Sometimes YouTube doesn't show me them, so it's not that I'm ignoring you. Sometimes they just don't show it to me. So I will continue to check my notifications for more. But until that time, keep them coming. Appreciate the subscribes. Every little bit helps. So thank you so much. I hope I can keep this valuable for you. So with that, let's go on to the charts. So Thursday, where you're going to see a lot of volatility in futures is at 8:30 in the morning. So that unemployment claims. So watch out for the run. Be prepared for a run sometime at 7 to 7:30, as there's a challengers job cuts lower tier event at 7:30. So if you're able to trade around 7 o'clock, there's probably going to be a move 650-ish on these kinds of days. And then as the market opens, it's typically going to like move and then chop the rest of the day. Look for, especially since Friday is a non-farm employment change day, look for it to form a nice solid range. Look for it to create some highs and lows and then just stay around the new week opening gap potentially. We'll talk about that in a moment where we ended up. So let's go from there. So those are the economic events for tomorrow. Let's take a look at the daily. So again, we have been bearish. We know that we're in this kind of like this premium area. If you don't know what I mean when I'm talking premium, go to ICT channel, Inner Circle Trader, and watch all of those videos to train so you'll know what kind of concepts I'm talking about. Or if you want me to, I'll try to think about a curriculum to speak on and simplify some of those concepts, but haven't figured that out yet. And nobody's really, you know, I've only had a couple of people ask for that, so that's a longer term thing. So let's take a look at this charts. So this daily imbalance here, you'll see two blue boxes there. I split them up with a 4 hour, I believe. But this imbalance is here nevertheless. We can see that we've dug into that twice. And if you take a look at this low of 14,589.25, and you take a look at this low, 14,587, this did not make a lower low. But what that does is it engineered liquidity. So there are a lot of longs here which have sells stops, or rather if a sell stops because sell market stops, because if they go short, if its price goes down here, they want to save their losses, right? So we see that yesterday went down to that point in time and came back up into the current new week opening gap. Yes, it's a little messy. It'll get clearer when we go down to lower time frames, I promise. Let's go down to an hourly. So on the hourly, if you remember last week, we saw this reach the consequent encroachment of this, which is also a SIBI low here. Consequent encroachment of this fair value gap. And I think today, let's take a look at today's price action. So in Asia, we dropped down to a monthly premium BISI high. And so we rejected that straight up there. And also, what did we hit? We hit that weekly low sell side liquidity, but we didn't quite take it yet. That's important because we'll see on lower time frames signatures that say, hey, I don't want to take it that low yet. Let me head back up towards this new week opening gap. Now, admittedly, I was thinking that this or this could serve as a bearish breaker, and it did to a small degree, but which I ended up shorting, by the way, but once I could tell I was off sides from the larger moves, I made sure to exit and exited right before this big giant spike up. So here's a situation where you can be right and wrong at the same time. But as long as your bias is there and you see the signatures that you are seeing, typically you can take a small chunk out of the market still, even if you're offsides. So I took short when the daily move was bullish for the most part. So it's possible to do. Make sure you are observing your ranges here. So remember, we had this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. We drew that out over time. This was on a 4-hour, and we wanted to, I think if you look back on today's live price action, you'll see that I noted that I want to see this traded through and treated as an inversion fair value gap, which it ended up doing exactly. So what this ends up doing is heading up to this over here. Heads up to this rejection block, rejects here, and now in Asia we've continued marching upwards. So I could certainly see us heading up to this area here, maybe midway point of this wick. Maybe we take these, but chances are we won't take those. Who knows? I mean, let's see. But we've already taken this liquidity, so we could certainly see a rejection back down. Keep in mind, our new week opening gap, this is exactly where we're at. We're in the middle, smack dab middle of that. Everybody's waiting, tense, getting ready for non-farm payroll on Friday. So be careful trading tomorrow. I will not be trading. I will be recording, but I will not be trading. When you trade enough days of weeks of non-farm payroll, you'll understand what I mean. Not saying you can't make money in the market, but risk down if you're going to. These moves can be volatile. So yeah, we anticipate, I mean, I still think price is going to head back upwards, maybe take a couple of these out. And then from there, there's still some unleft weekly SIBI low, or this sell side imbalance. So I think that that's what we might aim for if it continues upwards. And then on the 15-minute, we can kind of see that we had this 15-minute gap form yesterday, and we were looking at that today as well. So we see in London, it dropped all the way down, and now we have movement upwards, continued movement, although quite staggered upwards, but we've never really seen a lower low, right? So lower high, higher high, or higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Higher low technically on the grand scheme of things, so we want to see maybe a higher high or just barely a little bit here. Maybe they engineer some more liquidity around here, take it down to equilibrium or this new week opening gap, and then kind of like spike it up and then come down to take out these relative equal lows. I would like to see that happen on Friday, and that's what I'm anticipating. If you were here for the weekly review, I was originally thinking that we could even get up to here. I still think that non-farm payroll can certainly do that. I'm not putting it past. I'll have to go study a few of the other non-farm payrolls, but there are a lot of areas of liquidity here which it can certainly bust straight through. And if people are short here, short here, short here, they've made a decent amount of money here. But if they're still short, there's a lot of buy stops here. And what's going to happen if price rockets through here? It's going to force those buys to buy. And that's going to help jettison this up to around this area. So that's what I'm still looking at. That's what I said on Sunday. This is what I'm still sticking at today. I think we can head up to this area before we head downwards. And I'm still sticking to that. This just looks very suspect to me. I think it's going to get taken. Whether or not it gets taken on NFP Friday, I don't know. But let's go higher to go lower. So let's take a look at today's price action then on the lower time frame. So we knew that there were some areas of liquidity up here, area of liquidity up there, there. And once we turned around, when we got close to, but did not quite make it, we create a intermediate term low here. We have displacement upwards in London, and then price continues to go to this target, and then eventually to that target at 7 o'clock in the morning. Price proceeds to run, take out this target here. And then before the morning starts, we see a retracement into this fair value gap, and then it continues upwards, takes out some new longs by going short here, and then fails to keep that going and just continues to move upwards for the rest of the afternoon. Now, admittedly, this afternoon's price action, quite tough. I mean, look at that. Would you want to be trading through this? It'd be quite tough. So, you know, with a 5 minute, I mean, this high here was 14,776. You would have had to endure a low of 14,758. So that's almost 20 points. That's a lot to endure. My stops would have been stopped out for that. So you can kind of see that these fair value gaps are a little bit less precise on days like this. Whereas order blocks seem to be a little bit more precise. You can see how price traded down to this bullish order block right there, and then continued upwards. So that's one lesson that I've learned as well, is to, on days like these, look for order blocks, look for rejection blocks, versus 2022 models where you look for a fair value gap or imbalance. So I think with that, yeah, I mean, you know my bias for tomorrow. I think that we're going to, I think that we're going to end up, you know, finding some volatility in the morning, and then that's it. You know, I think it's going to stay. It could come up here, take some of these stops, but I think it's going to stay around this week opening gap. So, you know, continue to watch this over non-farm payrolls. I'm going to look back and test and see what kind of non-farm payrolls are there, and play around with, I don't know. We'll see if I play around with something on the performance accounts during non-farm payroll or not. I really don't like doing that because non-farm payroll is very violent, and the movements against you can be quite strong. So, yep, I think that's it. Let me see if there's any questions here. No questions. Okay, good. So, yeah, I think that's it on this end. Yes. Okay, and then what do we have here? So it looks like I passed too many accounts because I have 20 total accounts on this account. I actually have a few on a different account as well. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to maybe not trade one of them. So we'll see. We'll see if they allow me to keep it. But let's see if there's 3 days. Thursday, it's 4th, 5th, Monday, Tuesday. So it'll take me until Tuesday to get the last 2 stragglers, but Monday I should have the rest of the 8 that I'm waiting for. I think 2 will come at the end. 4 of them will come at the end of Friday, and then another 4 at the end of Monday, and then Tuesday hopefully will be the last one. So once I get all those performance accounts, I'm not trading during this time. Very seldom, unless I see a really good setup. So you should not be either. I'm gonna challenge myself and some of the folks who've been watching the performance of these PA accounts, you'll notice that I haven't traded many of them because I was focused on getting a whole bunch of them, right? So I want to trade them with very low micros. I want to be able to grow and save an account which has gone into drawdown very close to the minus 2,500. I think it's possible, but it is something that I'm very curious to see how it goes. So with that, I think I'm going to close up. Yeah, I think I'm going to close up here for today. You know my bias. It's going to try to maybe take out or take near some of those short-term highs, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, we'll see if that is as far as it goes upwards before it heads downwards. So I think that's it. Everyone have a good night's rest. I'm too going to go to bed, and I will not be there tomorrow. So good luck trading, trade safe, and I will catch up with you soon. Thank you very much. Good night.